So should we have like a 5-minute D&D segment where we actually like
play D&D?
Play D&D?
Yeah, I'm totally down.
Should we do it?
Yeah. Do you want to be the
I'll
holder
do
of
it.
the dice?
Oh, no, you are the holder of the dice.
Okay, I'll be the holder of the dice.
We have good dice here.
Yeah, you got the dice.
Right. 20
Roll
dice.
the dice for the... Yep. So, verified.
Yeah,
there's
verified die.
There's a die being rolled.
What number was that?
Oh, I didn't look. That's a 19.
Ooh,
okay.
that's
Off
good.
to a good start. All right,
That's a good start.
What did you roll for?
Initiative. Sorry.
To get
Time
started.
of day.
Sorry.
Time of day. You rolled 19, so it's almost the end of the day.
Right.
And let's descend into Theater of the Mind. You're walking home because it's the end of the day. It's dark. It's almost midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cold. And soon, rain is lashing you. You're assailed by the elements. And you look up to see the rain is tinged by neon light. And looking up ahead, you see a bright neon light shining. And it says, Ferengi Joel's Outrageous Op Shop.
Oh, I'm going to go in there. I'm so cold.
Yeah.
This is a bad
Outrageous
idea.
Op Shop.
Well,
100%
the
going in
door
there.
jingles as you push it open. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And there's a strong smell of incense wafting through the room and racks of clothes. It's not very well lit. There's a sort of dim red light emanating from the back of the room. And it's an op shop. There's shelves of books and old games and rows and rows and rows of clothes hanging along the walls.
I turned to Dan, and my first reaction is I'm like, this place is kind of fucking creepy, actually.
Yeah, it does seem a bit spooky for
Op shop to
an
be
op
open.
shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's kind of ominous with that red light over there.
Do you see anybody? Like, I don't see anybody.
I guess.
Hello?
Yeah.
I, like, yell out.
At the back of the op shop, you can hear a faint sound. And it sounds like...
Do I have anything on me? Do I have, like...
You're wearing your clothes.
My
Why
normal
don't you
clothes?
describe what you are? Yeah, it doesn't have to be you.
No, it's fine. It's me.
Project
It's
your
me.
imagination. What clothes would you be wearing?
Black hoodie with a jacket over it, and some, like, blue pants with some Converse on. And a beanie, and that's me.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay, your feet are really cold and soaked because you've been walking home.
Yeah.
Maybe you lost them at the party.
Yeah. Oh man. So am I a little I'm a little intoxicated. I'm definitely a little.
It's real late on a Friday night.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little intoxicated.
You were in the club with no shoes.
All right. So I'm like, should we check that out?
What about you though, Dan?
Oh,
when you look over
what
to
do you-
the
what do you look
sultry figure of Dan, you notice he's...
I'm work in the op shop industry, so I'm like, this is amazing. This is the best op shop ever. I need to know more about this. I got to explore and see what the fuck they're selling here. 'cause
Yeah,
this looks-
immediately you recognize Dan as, dressed the part. He's got a sort of indie color scheme, no primaries, no primary colors.
Pastels.
Yeah, really, really like, obscure cuts of the dress, but, impeccably stylish.
And it came out of nowhere.
Sunglasses on. But they're special sunglasses, so it looks like daytime to me, even if it's night.
Pretty handy. Yeah.
But
pretty
you guys just see me in sunglasses.
Well, with those handy, night vision sunglasses.
Yeah.
Night glasses?
Yeah, night glasses. Night glasses.
You
Moon
notice that,
glasses.
like, on one side of the op shop, that there's like what looks like a draft. Some of the sleeves and the legs of the clothes are sort of like blowing around.
Investigate.
Okay. Roll investigate.
Okay, so I'm checking out these.
Record that.
I got an 8.
Okay. You get closer, and you see that there's a plastic vinyl kind of windbreaker, like a rain jacket, and it's blowing around in the wind, but you can't see anything that's creating the wind.
Sure.
Oh, that's what you see from like the end of the aisle as you look down there.
Man, this place is creepy. We should probably just stay near the door and wait for the rain to pass, right?
Just at that moment, a thunderbolt crashes down outside, and the rain drives even harder.
I freak the fuck out. I run straight to Dan, and I'm like, all right, no, we're chilling in here. We're
You
definitely
knock
staying here.
the two of you over into the aisle, and suddenly, all around you, grasping sleeves and panties and leggings, the legs of the clothes start snaking down towards you and trying to grasp
Oh my god.
your limbs.
I try to put on a medium to large.
Let's see how well you wear it. Roll that dice.
17.
17. You put on medium large. Yeah, it's a size that you didn't even know existed before. It's perfectly between medium and
medium.
large. Yeah, it fits you like a glove. And, an entire side of the rack sort of wilts away. They'd all been like grasping towards you. But now that side subsides. But as you turn around, you see your friend getting sucked into the other rack.
I'm screaming and I'm like reaching for your direction just as hard as I can. I'm grabbing onto the ground and like trying to pull myself as hard as I can.
Let's see how well you pull.
That's a 12.
That's a 12. So he needs some help. You can see that he's getting dragged along. He's got a solid grip on the carpet, but these clothes grasp like no manufactured threads you've ever seen
Wait,
before.
has this benefited me at all by putting on these magic clothes?
It seems like you're one with the clothes. They they recognize you as a person that's wearing his size properly.
I'll try to save Devin and try to encourage the flying clothes to help me.
Okay, there's a sort of tornado of clothes, and Devin is outfitted in chronoclastic and yet
15
stylish attire. He doesn't. It's hard to identify what decade he's dressed as. He's got a piano key tie on, a really nicely fitting leather jacket,
80s.
Leggings that might be from the future, and suddenly all the clothes die down. And again, you hear from the back of the shop.
Whoa.
I hate this place so much.
But you look so good.
I stand up and I'm like, yeah, I actually do kind of look a little fly, don't I? All right. I guess we only really have one option. Let's go check out what that is.
Yeah.
I make my way towards the sound.
Where the till should be at the back of the shop, there's just a staircase leading down towards a blue light. And you see a person sitting there.
Hey, do you run this place?
Hey, it's me. It's Joel. We're just sitting here in this room. Welcome back. We played a bit of D&D.
Joel,
cool.
good to see you.
Hey.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joel.
Cool. That's a little
that was a little scary. Oh man. Oh, that got me a little going at the end. I was like, what is this?
So that's D&D.
Yeah, that's essentially
D&D.
Yeah, that's essentially.
You all heard the
D&D.
dice rolling.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
I can be your warlock, I can be your bard, I can be your dragonborn, to me it's not that hard. I can be your goblin, I can be your crazy elf, I can be your sexy arc, but I'll never be myself. Roll the dice, roll it, I will see. Who will win this test of ours with a natural 20? Roll the dice, roll it, I will see. Who will win this test of ours with a natural 20?
Even a 12 is still a +4 to hit. So I don't care. It's built in with the proficiency bonus. And with advantage.
I could be your warlock. I could be your bard. I could be your dragonborn. To me, it's not that hard. I could be your goblin. I could be your crazy owl.
Hello there.
I could be your sexy orc, but I'll never be myself.
Roll the dice, roll it, I will see. Who will win this test of ours with a natural 20?
The song is amazing, Dan. This song is absolutely amazing.
Dice is a good metaphor, right? Let's roll the dice, let's have a love together.
Yeah, let's roll the dice. That's a good song.
Thanks,
Please, is that that's gonna be the opener, right?
I guess so.
Roll it and you'll see.
Are we recording? Have we been recording this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting
Well,
with
I mean, welcome to another Resetters.
welcome,
Welcome,
Archer.
Joel Archer.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome.
Here to
Um,
reset.
I see you've listened to some of
Yeah.
our previous.
Thanks for that reference. Thank you. It's a reference to ourselves. It's so meta.
Resetting the reset.
That's what this podcast is about: is
Yeah.
resetting the resetters.
Right, yeah.
You know.
It's mostly for us.
yeah. But yeah.
The self-gratification podcast.
Yeah. That's what every single one of these episodes has been about. Is
Or all podcasts, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, why do people podcast? I mean, we could have that whole discussion.
Well, this
Here.
is definitely going to be a reset for me because we're talking about D&D, and I don't know much about it at all, so I'm looking to be enlightened by you two, who are both DMs. I do know that DM means Dungeon Master.
It does, and not the sexy kind.
Uh,
Well, at least we're not talking about the sexy kind.
Sometimes it means
Why not?
direct message, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for the day when people mix those up. They're like, just DM me about it. And we're like, right now?
Yeah. Okay, you're in an abandoned bar.
You meet at a tavern.
What's he
Yeah,
doing? I just wanted a prize. It'll happen.
Yeah, you're waiting for that opportune moment. But no, yeah. So you're an experienced DM, and I've dabbled a bit in Dungeons and Dragons. And we wanted to bring you on to get your opinion about Dungeons and Dragons, and like just a general idea as to like what Dungeons and Dragons is.
Well, if you have to ask me, I'm for it.
Cool.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, we got you here. We
What's your
physically got you here.
backstory, though?
10 years in, I'm definitely pro D&D, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So well, I guess
what
that
can
answers
I
one
tell you?
question.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing for?
Yeah, got into it in uni. There was a Auckland University RPG club, and I was like, finally, I can play that game that I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
I picked up like a set of it. I think it was like a starter set
What
when
edition?
I was 10.
What edition?
I don't even think it was an edition. I think it was one of those like watered down
Yeah.
versions
Yeah.
where it has like a pre-made map and like the rules are simplified. It's
How many
much
editions
more
are
rules
there?
heavy.
Gee.
5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Well,
but it started in the 80s,
6.
right?
Started in the 80s, yeah.
Late 70s?
I think 78, maybe very late 70s. And that's why Stranger Things is all about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's like the heyday, as it's like hitting its stride, and
This is the Renaissance now.
yeah, it's coming back.
yeah.
Thanks to
'cause
Stranger Things.
Well, and
definitely.
and
Well,
Critical Role and the massive D&D presence of the massive D&D community presence on the internet and stuff like
That's
that.
not because of Stranger Things that was already
No, that
kind
was
of
there.
blowing up.
Yeah, that was there. That's a completely different culture.
I would attribute like a big part of the Renaissance to how simplified they made the 5th edition rules.
yeah,
Oh,
They
yeah.
really
Also,
tried to
yeah.
make it much more accessible, and I think
Yeah.
it worked for a lot of people.
That's
Yeah.
my problem. I'm like, it's so confusing, and all the math.
yeah.
all the math.
Yeah, and I've had a few experiences playing 3rd edition where I was like, people would come to me and they say, "Let's play a game," and I said, "Sure." Just read this chapter, a short part of the book about what kind of character you're going to play, and I never saw them again. Not only we didn't play, but they just like ghosted me forever after.
Yeah, I would have. I was in a long-term 3.5 campaign, and I was DMing it, and I had an issue with a fight that one of the players wanted to. How do I put it? Resist or restrain the other another NPC, an enemy. And I was like, okay, surely these rules are going to be simple enough.
That's funny
I'll
because I
find
know
it.
exactly what rules you were talking about.
And then I
Everybody
realized
has an
that-
issue with that.
there was a whole fucking book
Yeah.
just for grappling.
Yeah.
Like a grappling book. And I was extremely off-put, and I oversimplified the rules. And then when 5th edition came out, and I started playing again, I realized it was just so much easier, and
Yeah.
it was so much more accessible to a lot of people. Like I've had people that aren't even, nerd driven or like fantasy inclined or anything like that to be interested in playing Dungeons and Dragons. You know,
I think that's why it's the world's best RPG, right? Because it can be anything you want.
exactly.
It doesn't have to be Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It could be
in space.
moles and mums. You know, you have to survive a shopping trip.
Right.
Or
right.
in space.
Yeah,
It could
there's
be
no limit.
spaceships and
You could do like
Sigourneys.
so you could do like The Sims, like I'll be the mummy and you're the daddy, and
And the rules would support that. You just roll dice to
Yeah.
see what happens.
who's cooking dinner? What are we having?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're having an argument.
Yeah,
Roll the dice.
Someone throws a pan.
There was that joke, wasn't there? I saw a like comic strip where they're like dragons playing D&D, but it's houses and humans.
right?
But I mean, that speaks to the versatility of the rules. Like, and that's why I think it's great, is because it uses the imagination. You know, it can be anything that you want it to be.
And I guess it taps into that thing as a child. The first thing you do when you're 1 or 2 years old is you're role playing. I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching my nephew do that now. It's like a real ingrained thing in our nature to role play.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very much a
pretend.
childish thing to do. Like it's play.
Totally.
You know, like it's in the word. It's play, and everybody from child to adult to elderly needs some sort of play.
Yeah. It's
Um,
healthy to play.
and this is just how us nerds do it when we're adults.
Yeah, I think it's way back in for a lot of people. Like, you know, you get to an adult and you're like, because if someone just came to you and be like, you know, want to be, you know, an orc,
Yeah,
you would say like, get away from me. But when there's rules, it's somehow safer. And it streamlines it. And then I find the more you play, the less important the rules become.
Yeah.
So it's like an excuse to unleash your creativity.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think the best games that I've played were long campaigns of theater of the mind, barely using any miniatures, barely using distancing, very, very heavily role play, and just some friends having a good time. Like, yeah.
And I think the more in sync you get in, like, and the longer the game goes, the less you need the rules, because somehow everyone has a good enough understanding of the scenario that you're playing that you can all kind of in unison imagine what should happen, what should arise out of any scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
The dice are just there to resolve disputes.
But you still need a bit of math, right? With the I need a I rolled a
sometimes.
12, but I need a +4 to hit, and my +4 is going to come from this. And
Sometimes, but you get so used to your regular attacks that you use or the combos that you have, especially if
right.
you're playing a
Yeah,
lower
okay.
magic class like a rogue or a fighter of particular types. You know, you can just you're like, okay, I've got this amount of battle points. I'm gonna spend 1 battle point to do this thing, which gives me 3 dice plus 4.
See, that's
the
confusing
only
me
math
already. But I can see that you play it for several hours, and you're like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
You see the matrix.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah, scroll.
Instead of the numbers, you see what the numbers represent.
yeah.
kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
But I think that was also the beauty of 5th edition, was it stripped away a lot of that like barrier for people, because 3rd edition had so many rules, and it was great because it described everything.
Yeah.
And for any given scenario there was a rule, but it also meant there was so much maths, and you had to be like 2 and a 3 and a 7 and a
How long's 5th edition been out for then?
quite a while now.
7 years, 8 years,
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
the better part of a decade, I
Yeah,
think.
So they kind of perfected it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard talk there's going to be a 6th edition, but I mean, what was great about 5th was they scaled back a lot of the rules. So,
Yeah.
You know, they created more scenarios where it's just like, just say what you want to do, and then that's what's
fun.
going to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is yeah, like I was trying to say, is the most ideal way to play, I think. So
Yeah, I had the super scaled back version with my friend where we just played on WhatsApp, texting each other, just the two of us. We take turns being the DM, be like, okay, this is the scenario. It's a post-apocalyptic world. And for every decision, I'd just roll like an online dice for a 20. So there wasn't any.
Not even any rules, right? It's just, is the number high or low?
You didn't have like special magic stuff or whatever. It's just in this situation, you remember you've got that tool or whatever, and
That's
we
cool.
don't play anymore. But it was.
That's interesting to me, because like you were playing the most scaled back version possible,
Yeah.
bar one thing, which is the rolling. you know, because
We had the digital dice. though, yeah.
exactly right. So it's interesting to me that even in that scenario where there are no rules, there's still one rule, which is the dice decides.
The randomness, yeah.
So I wonder, like, how important do you think that is?
Really important, because otherwise I can be biased and be like,
Mm.
no, I don't like your idea. That's dumb.
yeah.
But then if
Yeah.
it's a dumb idea, but you get a 20, I'm like, well, I guess your dumb idea worked.
Yeah.
And it pushes the story in an unforeseen direction.
Yeah.
Mm.
forces you to bring out more creativity.
Yeah.
It will,
So,
and
yeah,
that's,
that pencil did really work as a weapon.
Yeah.
yeah. You slammed his head right into that pencil.
Yeah, everyone knows that from The Dark Knight, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Magic trick.
But a lot of people, like, that's
Or
just
have you seen The Godfather Part 3?
no.
They're like, he's got to meet the guy from the Vatican, and he's got to kill him. But he's like, goes in this room. He's like, searches his body, no weapons on him. This is the guy sitting across the desk with glasses on. And he's like, yeah, so we're not going to pay you that thing. Sorry about that. And the guy just leaps across the desk, rips the glasses off his head, and uses the edge of the glasses, just starts stabbing him in the neck with
Holy
that.
shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds like the most intense killing I've
Yeah.
ever heard.
He wanted it bad enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He rolled really high.
Don't mess with the Godfather. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy probably...
Rolled high.
You can see in another dimension, like, someone's looking down and the DM's just shaking his head.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Of all the improbable...
That was intense. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
What about anybody thinking about getting into D&D and they don't know where to start?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Meetup's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like most D&D communities are pretty welcoming to new
Yeah,
players. You just
yeah,
have to
yeah.
find the people, meet them.
That is
Meetup's
a beautiful
quite good.
thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you get on Meetup and you find groups looking for new players. That's quite good. Fiverr seems to have like a lot of groups. If you want to pay for it, like you can-
Online,
you can just be
Right.
like get a group of friends
pay
together,
the DM.
jump on Fiverr and pay the DM. Just word
Can't
of mouth,
be as
I
fun
guess.
online though as in person.
Do you know
I
anybody?
don't mind it. I'm in the small minority of people that I don't mind online D&D too much because I'll
Yeah, I'm not
just take what I can get, you know. And D&D cancels so much.
Oh
It's so hard to get people together for like 4 hours in the same place
Yeah.
on a regular time slot every week. That when it happens, I'm just like, I'm just gonna
I'll take it.
what I
Yeah,
can get.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take it.
Yeah, I was
I'm-
telling my workmate about this D&D podcast that we were supposed to have yesterday, but it got postponed and blah, blah, blah. I said, we've been trying to get it going for a while, you know, to get everyone to... And she's like, yeah, that's a massive running joke in D&D. Like,
Yeah.
there's a movie coming out, and they're like, what should really happen? And, you know, did you guys hear there's a D&D movie, Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out?
I did hear that. Yeah.
So she said, what should happen with that movie is it should stop halfway, and then everybody should leave and agree to meet up to watch the second half of the film. It's at a later point, which
it
never
never
happens.
Yeah, I've seen the meme. It's great.
Accurate.
It's very accurate.
Yeah.
We should do that with this podcast. Just like
Oh,
like promise a part 2. That never happens.
Now's not a good time for me, but could do it like
Yeah.
2:30
I gotta go for a walk on
next
Wednesday.
Thursday.
My grandma just died.
Again.
I need to do my hair.
Oh, but that's the other thing I would say, because I think your question's a really good one. You know, anyone looking to get into D&D, like just do it. Like if you have a group of friends who are also interested, just like
Fucking do it.
The
Like-
books are out there. Just grab the
Just be
The
the
player's
D&D.
handbook.
Just be the DM. You mean.
and just play one game and see if you like it.
Get a D20.
Yeah.
Fucking
exactly.
roll that shit.
Yeah, you need the dice, you need the books, and then just go.
Do you really need the books?
Yeah.
Not that much.
No, not even. You can find. I know this is a little naughty, but you can find the books online.
Yeah.
If
Get
you
a
really-
player's handbook, get the DMG,
Mm.
and then you're playing D&D.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dungeon Master's
Yeah, I
Guide.
like that website we used, like the create a random character one.
Yeah,
What
well,
was
it's an
that- what
easy
was that one
way.
called? That
So
was cool.
fastcharactercreator.com
Yeah.
is a really easy way to create a 5th edition character for people that either don't have the time or aren't as interested in like building the actual stats for the character, more of the
yeah,
like,
yeah.
backstory for the character, and just want to play the game as soon as possible. Yeah, so I recommend that too. That is an easy way to get started on your character creation, especially if you find reading the entirety of the player's handbook a little intimidating. You know, for your ADD people out there. all your neurodivergence, raise your hand high. Yeah.
You know, that's funny though that you mentioned that, because now that I think back, that is actually how I started playing D&D. It was actually like quite spooky almost. My friends moved into a new house, a flat, and it was, you know, empty as houses are when you move into them. and I don't know why this was the case, but I was with them when they went to like inspect it.
Like,
and I
Joel,
wasn't-
you're a good character reference. Like, come on.
Yeah, come check out this house that we're going to move into, Joel,
They
without
trust you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. Like, I don't know why I was there. I've never done that before since. But I was there.
Mm.
And
Hey, they got the house, right?
they got the house.
Hey, okay. I'm
And we were
bringing you.
looking down in the basement, and there was a stack of D&D books just sitting on a
Oh.
table in the basement. And I asked the person showing us around, I was like, whose are these? And they're like, oh, the previous tenants must have just left them there. And I was like, I'm just going to take these if you don't mind. And they're like, fine, yeah, grab them.
Boom.
And so how I got into it was just reading the books,
Ah.
Yeah.
which is, I don't know, like how common that is to start. But
That's how I got into it too. I got
Yeah.
into it by reading the Weapons of Legacy from
right.
3.5.
Right, so quite a niche
Yeah.
part of the
And I was like,
the
oh
game.
my god, this is great.
Yeah, because it's so like, I don't know, it stimulates your imagination.
Yeah.
You know, you read things, and the way that the rules are written, you just tend to think like, how would that be used? Like, why would someone want to sing magically? Or
Yeah.
you know, what's the point of a frog demon
Right.
or something?
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
there is.
There's
You're-
every single type of personality.
What kind of
can be
animal are
represented.
you into? I love birds. Hey, well, we've got bird people.
You know,
Yeah.
circle of the moon, turn to a bird.
Why do they always start in the tavern, though? Seems every game, right?
It's a staple, yeah. Well, you got to have a scenario where the people meet each other.
Yeah.
I guess.
The public house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Local
I-
party.
People
or-
people are leaning away from that these days
Yeah.
because
It's
they
become
prefer
such a meme.
the hot start, if you like.
Oh, okay.
You know, like delve right into the action,
Mm.
just like movies do these days. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like, oh, we're in this battle and we don't know why. Cut to 5 hours earlier.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
they get into that battle? Sort of thing.
Is there any fun ways you've started a campaign before? Like the meeting,
Yeah.
the general meeting?
Wow. Well, you know, often the best parts of the game are getting the team together.
Mm.
You know, like that's the plot of an entire movie often.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
like you get the team together, and once the team's together, well, they'll solve the problem.
That was
You know,
Marvel's strategy for 20 years.
totally. yeah. What a payoff. Though.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone in the audience was like, oh.
People love that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People do love that story. That's a good story.
Yeah.
But my favorite.
A fun one. It doesn't have to be your favorite, just a fun one.
Well, I quite like the one we played with you, Dan, where it's like you don't even know each other, and suddenly the village is being attacked, and the people who are fighting back against these like weirdos breaking through doors and setting houses alight and kidnapping people.
Which one was this?
That was Ennervain
Ennervain.
that we
yeah,
played
yeah.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
The people that stand up and are like, "Hey, stop kidnapping us!" Those are the heroes.
Mm.
And then you after the battle is over, you look at each other and you're like, "You guys
yeah.
did something.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we should get those kidnapped people
See
back."
what's going on here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
that was
really
pretty good.
That's a good hot start.
Clear and
That's-
present
yeah, yeah.
danger.
Yeah, that's nice.
How about
Things
you?
do
Have you-
get hot.
when you're on fire.
It's a hot start.
That's a hot start.
Yeah. A man runs towards you screaming, he is on fire.
How about you? What was a good start that you've experienced?
The most recent long campaign that I've had, I started it with everyone being from the same like town, but one of them being royalty, and like treating the rest of them like shit. And then
Wow.
something happened, and a war got started against this town, and the D&D fantasy equivalent of a nuclear bomb was dropped on part of the city, and she went to one of them who she treated like shit for aid, and one by one they kind of collected survivors through the city, and those survivors ended up being the people that wanted to fight the war back.
Oh,
And,
so good.
yeah, and they found like a mentor, and like them, like like the mentor showed them through some stuff, and like we went through
That's such a compelling character arc.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it
like,
was really
I didn't
cool.
see the need for you now, but I'm not royalty anymore.
yeah, my royalty means nothing. My whole kingdom is destroyed, kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, and like through the mentorship, they actually didn't start a D&D campaign like any other campaign that I've started, but they started by spending time in one place and learning as much as they could through that. And actually, I gave them experience as they were doing that, and they
Nice.
leveled up. I think they leveled up like 2 levels
Great.
before they actually started doing anything. And
I haven't heard of anyone doing that, but like conceptually, I really like that
Yeah.
because they say like getting experience is what drives your characters forward. But typically, people only give that for killing monsters, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously drives the game in a very particular direction,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
the only way for you to
Murder
get better
hobos.
is
Yeah.
to kill people. But there should be experience every time anything significant happens.
Yeah, and it's good if
It's
you're
cool. You collect your points.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
on the honor system.
Totally.
based on your actions, in the world, and not just
I'd say rebuilding a house is much more of an experience than killing a slime.
Yeah.
And so not your math. Do you
Fuck
get
yeah.
better in D&D if you're better at math? Like you can gamble and be like, okay, this is worth gambling these numbers on a roll.
Yeah,
Nah,
maybe.
yeah,
I think
I mean-
it teaches you better basic addition and subtraction.
Logic.
for sure.
possibly.
Because it's subjective to the DM, right? Whether that
Yeah.
works out.
Yeah,
It might
yeah.
be like, you rolled a 1, but it still works.
Yeah. Well, and like
No? Is that not possible?
I don't
You
think-
roll a one
I
is
don't
like
think
a
the DM
guaranteed
should
fail,
call.
yeah.
I don't think the DM should call for a roll if it's guaranteed to be a success or a fail.
Right.
That's kind of like
Has
just
to be.
teasing the
success or fail.
player, because like if it's just automatic, like let's say you jump off a cliff, right, and you're like, oh, can I roll to survive this fall? Like, probably not. You should just die because you jumped
Right.
off the cliff.
Yeah.
Or like,
But that's the, like,
I'm gonna
that's-
try and
yeah.
drink this water. Like the DM shouldn't be like, oh,
But if it's
roll
like
to
a-
drink the water.
But if it's a
Yeah.
like a near like a death situation,
Mm.
but they roll a natural 1, then is that the kind of moment where you go, okay, I'm only going to give it to you if you roll a 1?
It would just be a 20. It wouldn't be a 1.
Yeah, only a 20.
They would just be like,
right.
yeah.
You need a 20
they
to
would just be
survive
like,
this.
if you get a
right.
20, then I'll let you.
Of
survive.
course, sorry. Yeah,
Funnily enough, I noticed those are the situations where 20s happen the most often.
Yeah.
Because the
The
DM's
memorable,
like,
yeah.
okay, I don't think this should happen, but like, I'm just going to let you roll so that you'll be satisfied when you lose.
Yeah.
And then you roll 20, and then you're sort of like, well, fuck, I have to let you succeed now.
I think-
Otherwise,
Yeah.
why did you roll?
It
think
has to
that's
be
a
a
big-
natural 20.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge attraction to D&D too, is
Yeah.
you can kind of die when you want.
Yeah.
Be like, look, I'm just going to go fucking hell for leather. And if I die, then, well, so be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
You could retire characters and just have them walk off in the distance.
Or blow up.
Or blow up. The fuck? Wait, that sounded way too
Anything,
specific.
there's
You have to have a story behind that.
Well, like Dan did that one time.
Oh,
we
yeah,
were
yeah.
fighting this boss, and it was like it was trying to call fire to it. It was this sort of like ancient sort of Lovecraftian eldritch god,
Yeah.
and it needed fire to be reignited. And there's like some torches burning on the walls, and it's like, bring them to me. And
Yeah.
and all the other players are like fighting and like trying to hold on and like fighting the cultists and stuff. And Dan got taken over, and he was like moving closer to it. And then he had a moment of clarity, and he was like, well, fuck it. And so he threw a fireball at it.
Yeah, yeah.
And just like blew it up and himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I died, but I won the game.
Yeah, that's how you win D&D. Fireball.
Yeah.
Any situation, fireball is
Exactly.
Yeah, but I
That's the way
rolled
to
the
go.
dice for that. Yeah, and I like just died.
yeah.
All my health had gone on that, but it was a satisfying end.
Have you had any major character deaths that like yours or players that you've had that like really stuck with you?
Oh, yeah. No, I do have a good one. I've got a really good one. Actually, most of the party died. It was great. The party was like on an adventure through a like embattled city. It was like under siege, and they were trying to get to the capital. And there was like they were trying to get to the castle, the palace of like the evil king who'd like been a tyrant, and there was all this rioting and war going on inside in the city, and they're up to this point they'd been very careful. They'd been stealthily creeping along through the city, avoiding patrols and stuff. And then they came around a corner and they saw this wizard, one of the henchmen of the king, and it was like doing some heinous stuff, whatever that was, summoning demons or torturing guys or some stuff, like just in the middle of this,
in the middle of the street.
they mutually support each other.
St. Andrew's Cross set up in the center of the street, like being flogged.
And they were like, "Hey, let's attack this guy!" And so they ran in there and got wasted. It was a close fight, but yeah, the cleric got turned insane, and started like throwing weird spells against his own party. Whoa. And so the paladin cast an anti-magic field which stopped it, but like the other guy was still insane. But everyone ended up just like tripping up over each other's toes and then getting wasted by the wizard. And in the end only the rogue survived, and the rogue was like, okay, the cleric's insane, 2 other members have just been killed, I'm just going to run away. Yeah, and so they ran off and hid, because rogues are good at that. They snuck into a back alley, and these character deaths were so exciting because like everyone was still eager to continue playing, but we were like, well, what do we do? The party's just been smoked. Yeah. And the cleric, the only one who was still alive, got taken down into the dungeon and was like tortured by the king's evil consort, and so we then enacted like an amazing rescue scenario. Oh yeah. So the game, this is again one of the great points of D&D is it can be any game you want. Yeah. The game shifted then from like epic fantasy into Metal Gear Solid. Oh. And at this point it was all the rogue, and the rogue had to sneak past all these guards and make their way down into this dungeon and save the cleric and get them out of there. And once they pulled them out, they were able to go and then find the bodies of their friends and bring them back to life.
Oh, so like the game evolved from there. And
and that was a massive left turn, because that was like something I didn't really expect. And
so some of the people were out of the game. Could they come back in as different characters, or
they could, yeah. And
or they can.
I told them like, give it one session, see if you like the direction this goes, and if it's possible for your allies to save you, and if not, then we'll start again or try something different. Yeah, cool. But they were really into it. I wrote some like afterlife kind of dream sequences for them. Nice. So there was a little bit for everybody, but mainly it was all about the rogue saving the party that had all been like wasted by this wizard.
That sounds pretty cool. That sounds like a really cool way to run a game. Like,
you any memorable character deaths?
Yeah, I've got a few. I think one of my most recent ones. So we've recently started an adventure league in the house. So it's just a small like group of us in the house that I live at that love to play D&D, and we just have like little campaigns that are like basically just our character goes into the adventuring league guild, picks up a piece of paper, and then gets his team together and goes out and does stuff. And we started it with going out to, like, they were really low level characters, like level 3, level 4, and they were going out to rescue this kid from a group of goblins that like took the kid from this town that's nearby their little hideout. And they went in there, killed it's like this underground dungeon kind of thing, and they went in there, and it was supposed to be just a real simple campaign, real nice, real fun, showing some new players how to play kind of thing. And they went in, killed like half of the goblins, got to the very end, and then got chased out and one by one systematically killed, like, by the rest of the goblins. Whoa. And there weren't even that many goblins. Like, it was quite surprising that they died. But they just kept rolling really bad, and they kept like fumbling on themselves, and like it just turned into a mess. And only one player survived. Like, they intended those characters to go through Adventure League for a long time, and they all died in the first session immediately, except for one person. And he's still playing that character. And
cool.
How often is it a happy ending in D&D?
It's a 50-50 for me, at least from my career as a
Right.
DM and as
What
a player.
about your favorite games? What's been your favorite scenarios or games that you've played?
So my favorite experience was, so I played with this DM for the first 6 years of my playing in 3.5, and I was playing this character Takarius Drake, and he was actually when I first started to realize what I could do to reach the weapons of legacy from the book that I found when I was a kid.
Full circle.
Full circle. Yeah. So I ended up getting one of them, Tree Brother, and going through every single ritual that it took to maximize this thing's power, because you have to go through these rituals to unlock particular aspects
very
of
detailed.
Yeah, you have to actually go through these in the game. So you're collecting money through jobs, and my DM was really extensive like that.
So you're playing a lot of hours here.
Yeah. I played a lot of that game.
How many hours do you play to
I don't know.
get up to?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What was your goal again?
Getting this staff called Tree Brother.
Okay, right. The magic staff.
Yeah, this really magic staff that was like for druids and stuff, and doing that and getting to the point where he fully unlocked the abilities of Tree Brother, he went evil, and I went full evil with him, but really low key about it, until one day I turned on the party and fully turned on the party using Tree Brother. When I got it, I was like, "It's finally, thank you for helping me get this."
Okay.
And when
You fools!
The One Ring.
yeah, basically. And I was
Nobody rules the
And
One
my
Ring.
DM knew this was coming. I've been, talking about it with him
Awesome.
for months at that point.
Wow.
And I was we knew that the second I got Tree Brother through its last ritual, that I was going to use its spike ability, which basically lets you hit it in the ground and say a call word, and it would entangle X amount of characters within. Fully entangle, fully stop them from being able to semantically cast anything, or it would stop them from moving. And that was the first thing I did, and I just left. I was like, you guys get to live because you guys, were so good to me. But what starts now is my campaign for the rest of my life. And I just left, and I retired that character. And this is actually where it gets to my favorite part, because years later, playing that same campaign kind of with a completely different character, my DM brought him back
As the villain. Amazing.
Cool.
And my party, with only one character remaining from the original party, fought against him to his death. And it was such an amazing experience, because
Awesome character arc.
it was beautiful. I got to deliver the final blow.
Yeah.
It was, it was one of those things I wish we had recording stuff for at the time, because that would have been the awesome, the best thing to record.
They say a good villain should be his own protagonist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's way more interesting if you
Way
think
more.
about all the heroes, right? What they do is they stop people doing things.
Yeah.
But the villains are like, hey, I want to try this new thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It involves killing a few people, whatever, but I'm going to try it and change the world.
Change, baby.
And then the good guy's just like, no, stop trying to change the world. Keep everything normal. And actually, if we just followed the villain's story, isn't that much more interesting sometimes?
Yeah.
It's a more interesting villain, because I think everyone's tired of that villain who's like, I'm going to destroy the world.
yeah.
Right.
Who thinks like that?
Nobody
thinks like that.
Have y'all ever seen
Shit.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show?
Parts of it.
Yeah. There's a villain in the third season, Ahir, and he has probably one of the best character arcs I've seen represented in TV.
Cool.
In
In any genre.
in any genre.
Yeah.
He's so his points are so compelling, and his points are so compelling that by the end of the series, you're almost like, wait,
Are you the good guy?
Zahir was right.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Right.
And it's just about bringing balance to the world and all that Avatar stuff. But yeah, for any of those listeners out there who love Avatar: The Last Airbender, that was for you.
Yeah. Great D&D experiences. I'm really enjoying the one I'm playing now. And that's new for me, because it's how rich the characters are.
Yeah.
The party dynamics are really good. The DM's really into it. We're playing an Eberron campaign.
Oh yeah.
We're actually doing a podcast of that as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
shout outs to Uphill Rolling. Thanks
There'll be a
Oh,
for
link,
yeah,
making
yeah.
a podcast. that
there'll
I
be a
can
link
in.
in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys
That's
do?
real fun.
Record your campaigns?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Mm.
The others, I love that Ennervain game, especially with the like real climactic moment where everyone died. That was really fun. One of the first like long involved campaigns I played was also great. It was called Guardians of Gate, and the
Oh, yeah.
idea was that the material plane, like the world where we live in, is like a nexus of the multiverse. Like all the different dimensions
Oh yeah.
connect through the world that we live in. And up until a few generations ago, the world had been managed and overseen by like wizards who knew about all of the different planes and were trying to run things in a smooth way. And then there was a coup, and the church took over and killed all the wizards.
Oh.
And magic was made illegal, and the church was trying to use the gates to the other planes for their own power and opening up devilish portals and all the bad stuff. And the protagonists were wizards, so they were like, it's sort of like the end of Harry Potter, I guess. Like the wizards are the good guys, but they're sort of like illegal and underground, and they have to
Yeah,
right,
rebel
yeah,
against
yeah.
the state.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of cool stuff, like wizards against
Clandestine.
the church, good versus evil.
I guess that is the
Chaos
coolest
versus
thing
law.
about Harry Potter is that they secret society. They're like,
Yeah.
the humans can't handle it, and then so you're always thinking like, is that politician? Is it a lizard person? Are people
You'll never
robots?
know.
He's a cyborg. You ever think that in real life?
A few times. I read many times that Facebook page, John Key is a shape-shifting reptile from outer space.
Oh.
And, they make some compelling points. I saw this one picture where he was green, so,
Yeah.
you can't argue with that.
He's
you can't- you can't-
Dragonborn.
I've seen it. Yeah. You've seen it with your eyes.
Dragonborn
So,
is what? Is like you have a dragon soul and dragon blood, but you look like a human, or you look like something else?
Dragonborn is like half dragon, half human, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
you have some dragon blood in your lineage.
Mm.
I think the trait. Well, in 3.5 the traits vary, but in 5
Mm.
they don't do.
Okay.
That. They're
I can
pretty-
imagine those
pretty
guys,
standard.
the dragon born being like the skinheads of the D&D world, where they're like, it's called Dungeons and Dragons. I have dragon blood, so
And I run a
Oh,
dungeon.
like the Aryan Brotherhood, you mean?
yeah,
the
exactly.
racial
Yeah,
supremacists.
yeah.
All to be pure.
You're neither a dragon or a dungeon, so, get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would suck to be part dungeon.
Maybe we all are a little bit.
Ooh, despite all my rage,
I am still just part dungeon.
dragon blood in a cage.
Dragon blood in a cage.
That was my idea for a DMing a Dungeons and Dragons. I would call it Dragons and Dungeons.
Big plot twist.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
And where you have to go through the dungeons levels to rescue a dragon.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's
then
a
you
sweet-
like fly your
sweet
way
twist.
back out the tunnel, like holding onto it.
That's a
You
that's
rescue
a cool
the dragon.
So when you reach the dragon, instead of fighting it, it's actually your savior, because down through all these tunnels, all the enemies like gathering behind you,
Whoa.
like
Yeah,
one
so
o'clock,
that's how you
300.
escape.
And the only
Oh
way
my-
out is actually to
Oh, that's really cool.
convince the dragon that just use your flame shit and let's get the fuck out of here, bro.
I really like that, and like
Yeah.
it's quite powerful metaphorically.
Yeah,
taming the dragon,
Yeah,
getting its power for yourself.
just reversing the name.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd play it.
Dragons
That's
and
good.
Dungeons,
I'd play
but
it.
it's
Yeah.
dragon. There could be two down there. Two dragons. There we go.
So when
To save
do
the
we
dragon race. Here we go.
Yeah, well,
So
let's
it's
play this.
a male and a female, the last ones, but they're experimenting on them.
to save the dragon race?
Something like that.
They'll adventure a dungeon place.
Shit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
When
was
are we
nice.
playing, Dan?
Yeah, when are
Yeah,
we playing?
soon. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess.
I've been trying to
Tomorrow?
get a campaign together.
Oh, wait, can I just ask something that I wanted to ask? Like the fact that I just told you guys, like the whole plot story of Dragons and Dungeons.
Does it ruin it?
Does that ruin it? Yeah.
Not for me.
Nah, man.
Is
I
it,
wa-
do you
I
feel
wanna
that way
rescue
about
that
all-
dragon.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to save that fucking dragon.
Right.
This actually enhances it.
Yeah.
Unlike a movie where like, oh, don't tell me the ending.
Yeah,
or-
no.
You
This
know,
is-
I don't know how true this is, but I heard recently that seeing spoilers somehow increases your enjoyment.
Ah.
Oh, because
If
you
you're
want to
still
wait
willing
for
to
that
watch
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it
I
doesn't,
Nobody,
don't know if
nobody
it's-
went to the Titanic and was like, "Oh my god, the boat sank! I was not expecting that."
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know why that would be the
Mm.
case, but apparently that's the thing.
Yeah, Kurt Vonnegut said the reader should always know how the story's going to end.
I will say that I do find myself enjoying, all sorts of different media more when I know what the author is doing. Like, it shouldn't be predictable.
Not too mysterious.
Not predictable, but like when I can see like, oh, that was a good plot twist, or like,
yeah.
this is the point where there needs to be a downturn in the story, and
Yeah.
oh, where's that going to come from? And then I'm like, oh, nicely
Fantasy
done.
and the realism.
Yeah. Or
yeah.
this is the part where, the two protagonists meet and how are they going to manage that? And then I'm like, oh, they're meeting now. But I didn't know how they would pull that off. But I see what they're doing, even if I didn't know how they would do
the
it.
nuances of the story.
I do find that enhances my enjoyment. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just read recently Silence of the Lambs, the book,
Mm-hmm.
but I already watched the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, reading what I already knew was going to happen was still like beautiful because the story is just so well crafted. The
Yeah.
plot, it's just,
Yeah.
it all connects logically, and, there's none of these jumping the sharks or taking liberties. It's like, I can see that. I can feel that. And that's why we still pay millions of dollars, billions of dollars every year to watch the newest Cinderella.
Totally.
You
Yeah.
know, those stories, we just need
True.
them. We need
Yeah.
these stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our culture.
Yeah.
Imagine before video games, before D&D, before music, before anything, there must have been storytelling first.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Carl Jung called those like archetypal stories, right?
Mm.
And he said that those like, I'm probably going to butcher this because I've only just been learning about it recently, but a lot of those figures are sort of like fixed and eternal, like the protagonist, the hero is the hero in any story. And we implant different traits or characteristics, but it's still that person that you want to be and you want them to succeed. The villain is always the villain, and they represent different things inside us and inside our society. And maybe the particular details of what we're going through in our own lives might be different from day to day, but there are these sort of eternal archetypes that always relate to us, and
the
that's why we go
deadly
back
sins
again
whatever,
and again. Yeah, we want to see more of that because it speaks to something that's always true in a way.
Yeah, there's always going to be movies, stories about revenge,
Yeah.
the wrath, avarice.
The
Great.
great driving forces of any good story.
Yeah, because you have to have conflict. Can you name one story? Okay, here's two chances. One story that has no conflict and one story that is set in the future where things are not worse. They don't exist. People don't want to hear.
Non-violent stories.
Yeah.
And this comes back to that quandary that I was talking about before. Like, I think it's good to live peacefully, and find yourself in harmony with people. But it doesn't make for compelling stories.
Yeah,
And I don't often find
you've
myself
gotta
playing a
struggle.
game where I'd like to play a game where you sort of like, pet animals and walk around a sunny landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, I played games like that sometimes and enjoyed them. Flower was pretty cool. Journey was great.
Journey.
Journey was really great. But I don't want to play that game that often.
Yeah, there's something healthy in imagining some violence to an extent.
I might say that if you replace the word conflict with struggle, then I would be into it. Like, I think that there are plenty of compelling stories to be told about struggle, but not necessarily about like violent opposition between two different parties.
But you can't just watch a movie about a guy or story where a guy's just like, everything's great.
That's not much of a story.
Yeah.
No.
And then he died at the age of 97.
There needs to be a struggle. Yeah.
You're like, he was such a nice guy. It's like the worst thing anyone could ever call you, like the nice guy who
I'm
just.
trying to think. I feel like I saw a movie like that.
I feel like I've seen one starring Will Ferrell.
Oh.
Like that.
No struggle.
No, there was a movie like that. It was called Memoria. I don't know if it's a Colombian movie, but it's certainly set in Colombia.
A guy who did nothing with his life.
I wouldn't say
That'd be
nothing,
nice.
but I don't think I could identify really a conflict in this movie. The movie is about a woman. She wakes up from a dream, and she's heard a sound. It's a very particular sound, and she tries to find out what it is, and she goes on a journey to
As you
find
do.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, please don't spoil this. I really need to see this.
Akira
I'll
Kurosawa.
just leave it there.
Akira Kurosawa had a good one where he's like, this guy's a bureaucrat. He spent his whole life pushing paper,
Yeah.
denying
Oh, yeah.
laws, and then at the end he like has like I think he gets cancer or he's got like some life-threatening health
Yeah.
thing, and he just changes his thing. He's like,
Yeah.
instead of being a bureaucrat who doesn't let people do shit, how about I give these loans to these like
Yeah.
underprivileged people, or let this thing happen and shit. Oh, now I'm supporting the orphans using the government's fund who trust me to not really do that.
Yeah. Ikiru. Yeah, such a good movie.
Yeah, to
Thank you,
live.
dude.
But you might say there's no
Okay.
conflict in that movie. I don't know.
Inner conflict.
Inner conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's struggle, right? I think you could say there's
Struggles,
certainly struggle. in
That's
that
maybe
movie.
a better way, because conflict maybe implies someone else.
There's not really any scenes where he's like directly fighting against someone. He's just sort of trying to get his own shit together, really.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a good one.
He's got another one called The Invisible Enemy,
Oh.
which is about
You have the full collection, don't you?
yeah.
I really want to like borrow that or watch that.
This guy's a doctor, but he got syphilis
Okay.
through operating on someone and he didn't have
Oh,
gloves,
no.
whatever.
Mm.
But everyone's like, "Oh, you got syphilis. Oh, that means you go to
You're a big
whorehouses
perv.
and you're a doctor. Oh my god, gross! You're gonna like give syphilis, whatever. It's a big secret for him. But he got it through doing good, and it's all about the stigma of being labeled
Mm.
Wow.
with a disease and to feel bad because
What an
That's
interesting
sick.
story.
he's my favorite storyteller.
So good.
Yeah, I love Kurosawa.
Just
Gotta love
getting
his
into
plots.
like going in doesn't have to be a super element, unexplained element. It can be like a real story,
Mm.
that follows a real human. Damn.
That's intense.
Yeah, that's a life.
You don't need to be at the
Someone
edge of
lived,
the edge of the
anyone can-
universe,
and there's so
you
many
know.
humans. Everyone think of a weird or a terrible life. Someone's lived that.
Right.
It's a real roll of the dice being born on Earth.
Yeah.
Die 20 whatever.
Roll of the dice. All right. I think that's coming to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe
that's-
Latcher, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I wasn't
Thank you,
kidding.
guys.
I wasn't kidding when I probably want a part 2. I might try to get you in a part 2. But yeah, we'll keep in the tradition of.
So, is like next Monday at 7:30 gonna work for you?
I can't do next Monday. Does Wednesday?
Nah, because I'm doing my other podcast on
Oh
Wednesday.
yeah.
Okay.
cool.
We'll get your people to call my people.
Yeah.
And maybe like 3 Thursdays, we can pencil it in, and maybe rain check to a Sunday.
Yeah, that's fine. That works for me. Yeah. I'll take what I can get. Yeah.
Right. We're not doing it online though.
Yeah.
Wait, this whole thing's online.
It's so meta. All right. Thank you.
Hello,
for listening.
internet. Thanks, internet.
Do you
Yeah.
want to wait before you shut down? Do you want a quick fire round of any of the plugs that you want to give? So it's an
Yeah,
easy
check
access?
out Uphill Rolling. Real cool podcast. Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Uphill
the link.
rolling. There'll be
Cool.
links in the description. Hopefully, rolling uphill.
Yep.
All right. Good night. Sweet dreams.
Good night. Wait, do a little D&D voice of some weird character.
Fuck that thing. That scared the shit out of me. I was like, what the fuck is it?